Okay. I should send it in an email too, just in case. Is that working now?
Yes, I can hear now.
Oh, yay.
I mean, I'm on my phone, but whatever, it works.
Yeah. If Jacob doesn't hop on, then I'll send an email. Okay. All right, so I sent Jacob an email so that can come up. Got like 12 tabs or like windows open, so. All right, well, I don't know where Jacob is. I sent the invite like 3 times. Oh, there we go. Cool. I think we got everyone.
Is it working now?
Yeah, she got it working. She got it on her phone.
Oh, okay.
So I think we're good now. Okay.
Okay, so this week, do we just discuss the hypothetical then? There's not any, it doesn't have anything else.
I looked on the gradebook too. There's nothing for us to turn in. I think it's just we just discuss it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was looking at the group discussion thing, like the group activity, and it just says discuss it.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's nothing for us to actually do besides just talk about it and like the different ideas that we have and stuff.
So is our final exam? I couldn't figure it out. Is it just going to be like an open response to this or something, or is it going to be like a multiple
Yeah,
choice?
so I did the pre-exam so I could see. So when you do the pre-exam, it pops up. So it says all the questions are based on the final exam hypothetical problem. You have 2 hours to complete 25 question multiple choice. You can use text, study guides, look things up on your computer. Just don't talk
Sweet.
during the exam. So 25 questions just on this.
Yeah, and that's what it sounded like when I read through the group thing, like the instructions for this. So yeah, it sounds fairly
Okay.
easy.
Sweet.
So going through the first issue that I think there's going to be questions on is probably where the Klaus guy says that like he comes up with a great idea, but it's really from Airfuss instead of Airbus.
The sweeping back wings thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what chapter is that going to be in, I guess? Because we'll probably have to know what. Oh, I have to go get my charger. Chapters to look in, I'm guessing. So that
It'll ask like what? Because aren't they? It said there. You said it was a multiple choice bank, right? It asks questions, and
Yeah.
then we have multiple choice. The good thing is most of those things will be like, what is this a violation of? And you can actually pull up those codes or that area in the book.
Yep.
Especially, did you say we had 2 hours or 3?
2.
2.
Yeah, it's just like all the other tests that we've had so far.
So this one I'll probably try not to be done in 4 minutes with.
Probably
I
not.
usually take at least an hour and a half.
Really?
Yeah,
I
and then
always
I
think
still
like
do
I'm gonna
that
look
on-
it up, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna take the whole thing, and then I get to the end, and I'm like, wow, that's a lot of looking up. I think I'm just gonna send it in. But I'm not going to do that on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through and label my book, like the chapters that we went through, like what lesson they were from, and kind of like what is in them. So then I'm not like flipping through pages trying to find certain words.
Oh, I'm totally gonna wing
Book
it.
flagged. And I'll have all the study guides printed too, so then if a question comes off the study guide, I'll at least know what chapter it's in.
That's a good
Holy
idea.
cow.
Geez, they should let us take it with our. We should be able to take our final exam with our group because I want to go with you guys.
No kidding. You guys do the
I guarantee I'm gonna
preparation.
do good.
I'll wing it.
That would be nice.
I did a bad thing. I got like a C on the exam, and then I just did the dismissal because I didn't want it. I read through and all my answers. I just realized how bad they were, and I was like, "Yeah, I really missed those. I don't even have a decent argument," and so I just dismissed.
I got a C-
It's
on
that-
this one. I don't know how I
Same.
missed 6. Like that 6 doesn't seem too bad, but however these exams are weighted, I'm like, my word, you'd think I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I missed 6 as well,
I missed
but
5.
I also took the test in 14 minutes, so I don't feel too bad about that.
No, I think the longest I've taken is 40 minutes, but I've always been that way.
I just get to the end and I'm like,
happened?
I am not going to sit here and look up all these answers again. I'm done.
Okay.
Which I actually feel really good about because this was the week that I wasn't able to do the reading. And so I just like pretty much went in blind on this test. And so
It was
to
a
pull a
hard
C,
one.
I'm like,
It
you
had
know what?
So many
I will-
chapters.
I will absolutely take it. So
There were so many chapters on this exam.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the issue of him sharing. Would it be a trade secret? Does it fall under a trade secret?
That's what I thought.
Okay, so likely trade secret for that first issue. So
it's arguable that it's patented technology. I think that's
That
more
too.
likely because you can't. Usually, a trade secret is like a recipe or something that's easily copyable, whereas that's like the engineer took plans from that. So I don't think it's a trade secret. I think that would be like patented technology.
okay, look into those 2 things at least for that one.
Yeah.
Then there's the whole as if a girl could understand this stuff, and then she goes on Twitter,
Yeah.
and then all of her analysts that support her retweet it. What is that?
Yeah.
I mean, granted,
Um,
the derogatory mark about girls, but like as far as her posting on social media and then people supporting her because of her expertise. What does that fall under?
Would it be libel or whatever that is? Because she's getting on and she's saying, so she's basing her accusations aren't on like their actual business practices. It's on like a personal interaction. So
Oh, yeah,
she's
probably. Yeah, because slander's verbal, libel's written, so that's probably it.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Another one
there might be a small like discrimination in the workplace thing, but also like if it came up to like that, she didn't follow like the proper avenues would have been to like file a report or talk to like HR or something like that at the company, but instead she took it into her own hands, so she could actually get in quite a bit of trouble for that. The next thing I wrote is that they're probably going to get into some legal issues because the 7th test run of plane crashed. And the 2 families sue Boring for negligence.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
I had one
What's it-
before that. I have the I'll talk to the guys over at Harris and convince them to cut ties and only deal with Boring.
oh yeah, well, and they did like a word of mouth promise, like they didn't have anything written up, but he's like, oh yeah, if you're interested, you'll be the only one that gets this technology.
Yeah, so I don't know, like,
And so he might not have had decision to make that, but because like they think he's a manager or is in position, he has authority to make that promise.
yeah. So there's that one. Then the test pilots, that one's unfortunate.
What court could they bring that up in?
Which one?
That might be a
What?
question. Like, what court would they bring up that lawsuit in?
Oh, right. If it's pretty sure you can do state or federal for that one, but you have to double check in the state they're in.
So I
There's
guess we'll see.
also-
Maybe it'll give a little more background when it asks the question, or if that even comes up.
Yeah, it's probably one of those where it's like the test pilots are from Idaho, but the crash was in a Utah, one of those things.
Where can they bring up lawsuit?
Like our first chapters.
Okay.
There's also the whole selling shares.
His wife sold stock.
Yeah, the
when he
insider
told her
trading.
Oh yeah.
would be an insider trading violation.
Yeah.
So I wonder, like, what. So this guy comes and like drops all this stuff on that. Like the end of this is this guy drops all this stuff on you, but like, what do you like? What does your lawyer tell you? Like, try to hide all that stuff, go back and fix the stock. Like, how would you get yourself out of the mess that this guy's created? Because the thing is, it's like this is like all pretty illegal, but at the same time, it's like nothing he's done is like so off the wall that it's not like you just like woke up and like did something super terrible. A lot of it was just kind of like he was doing his job, but doing it kind of loosely.
Yeah.
And all this stuff happened. So I wonder how they like fix all this shiz.
So,
I wonder what the
And on the lawyer too, because he's like you said, a sketchier dude might say, okay, let's see what we can hide and what won't come up. And
Yeah.
then, but also a lot of it, I think some of this stuff is kind of subject to spin, if you could spin it in a way that, like you said, it's kind of on the borderline, right? Some of this stuff is kind of almost illegal and might be, but it depends on who's your judge or whatever, and how you present that. Because, if they can't prove that their engineer used the plans from Airbus for the sweeping back the wings and all that, then they might get away with it or something if they could prove that they didn't steal the idea.
Yeah.
they also willingly left, like Airbus go get them. It says they left. So in like real life, when you leave, sometimes you have like a non-compete agreement. So if they had that in place, they wouldn't have been able to go work for Airbus for like 2 years or something. A lot of specific careers do that because of this kind of thing where you go work directly for the competition. So there's that. As far as the social media thing, that was probably just not a smart decision, but not too big a deal.
Yeah.
And the planes, no one would actually say that you didn't do enough to keep birds away. Like that's like,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, a plane would file but like that's like a really far stretch. I don't think.
I don't know though. I mean, because a lot of times those test facilities, I mean, they spend millions and millions of dollars on these facilities, these test areas. And so if something like that happened, I mean, they do have countermeasures for keeping wildlife away and whatnot. And they have guys like even at regular airports, that's full-time job is to just go around and kill animals at the airport and keep them away.
Right. I think like if they had a fence that was broken or like netting or something like that they
Yeah.
should have fixed, or but just like birds
But
in
at the
the
same
air.
time, yeah, I was gonna say there's a like part of the testing though is it's like say they get everything under ideal conditions. Plane don't always run in ideal conditions. So like say they make it so only the airport run all the tests run smooth because they keep all the birds away, but then you hit a bird when you're like descending at an airport 5 years from now and the entire plane full of people die.
Like that
Yeah.
movie Sully where he lands in the river. He hit birds.
Yay. Tom Hanks isn't very good at flying places or going anywhere. He's not very good at travel.
Or the ship,
Yeah.
because he was on that pirate one too.
Pirates, planes.
Yeah.
He got shipwrecked in one movie.
Yeah.
Literally every Tom Hanks movie is just him screwing up traveling somewhere.
The insider trading, his wife's probably in trouble, but he's not.
Yeah.
Would the manager that gave him the information, would he get in trouble for giving that? I guess he wouldn't be, because we did that one case study and you wouldn't be held if you weren't like if he received money for telling him, then it would be a problem. But because he just told him just to let him know, he wouldn't be in trouble, would he?
Yeah, I think it is. I think this is an exact example of that case we did. So make sure you keep that in mind. Because I think it'll be the same thing. And like they were telling him, they didn't have to tell him. So by them disclosing it, it kind of makes it less private in the first place.
Yeah.
What about the random?
At the same time, it wasn't public information though. It was like from company manager to company manager.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference between like something being public information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
So, because it was wasn't it the VP that told him?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was his
VP of
project. So like you'd have to know like after like it's a public event that crashes and blows up and kills some pilots.
Right.
You would just have to know that at your next like stock release meeting, your stock's gonna go down if a bunch of people died during your last big project.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think the VP's like liable at all. I don't think that any of that was like information that shouldn't have been disclosed to him.
Right. Well, then there's the mechanic that took the sales order.
Also, the late delivery of the planes. So they said they'd be ready in 2008.
Right.
Because we did like a whole chapter on like what people are like contracted for, if they're like, some of those companies could argue like their business suffered because the planes were late, they need compensation or so that could very well be. That's got so much material. I don't think I would even cover that until if the question came up. But we did like an entire unit on just contracts and like late delivery and stuff.
Yeah, because that one's kind of a rabbit hole too, because the companies could go after Boring because they didn't have their planes ready. But then also Boring could go after Rodron because they didn't have the engines ready for mass production, and they could say that it caused them damage.
I'm sure it'll be.
You start getting into that other thing where like how liable is a company, and it's like, millions and millions of dollars. Might not even like Rodron might not even have enough money to pay if all these big lawsuits get with all the. So then all of a sudden it turns into like a. Who pays then? Shareholders. That problem could go across like a couple different chapters.
Yeah.
But,
and then the other deal one would be when the mechanic was talking to the Russian guy.
Mm-hmm.
What constitutes a deal? So he thought he was making a deal with a salesperson, and Instead, the mechanic thought, "Oh yeah, he knows I'm a mechanic."
Hmm.
Yeah,
See,
just
what
pass the-
pops out to my mind on that is like there's like a chapter that we talked about like if like you lead someone on to believe you're a position in the company's responsible for your decision. But at the same
Mhm.
time, you could argue that like it says the Aeroplop representative had like very broken English, so you could say that there wasn't a meeting of the minds there, and that they like, I mean, there for sure wasn't a meeting of the minds there, so there wouldn't be a legitimate contract.
Yeah.
So there's a couple ways you could spin that. Probably just depending on what the answers, the multiple choice answers are. I'm so glad it's multiple choice because I feel like I can kind of like reason with myself and really like think through a few answers, like what's right, wrong, whatever. But I think I would just absolutely die if this was like open response.
Oh yeah, I would fail it. Like 0%.
I'm not
Test
doing
score
well on
average is
multiple
like
choice as is, so I don't know
12%.
how much better.
What did you say?
Ugh.
I'm not doing too well on the exams, multiple choice as is.
Yeah,
So
me
how
either.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I've always done way better on multiple choice than open response.
Okay. I also have the whole price discrimination lawsuit in that second to last paragraph.
Yeah. So the price discrimination one was the hardest one for me because it's such a weird thing. Like, what constitutes price discrimination? Because I work in the motorcycle industry, and in the sales part, I mean, I'll sell a bike to one guy for full price, and another guy will nickel and dime me and end up getting $1,000 off. So I mean, technically, that would be the same thing. Like, we would be price discriminating, right? We're selling.
But I don't think price discrimination like so I'm in an economics class, which is funny because a few of these have overlapped. Like we've been talking about like price discrimination in on that aspect, as well as price discrimination on in like, and it's hard because like unless the products are like identical, and usually it has to be like some sort of like reason like that they, if they can prove the reason they got a worse price is because they were black or a woman or whatever. But
So they have
like
the
there's
burden of
almost
proof for
that's
that,
how it
right?
is in almost everything, you know. Salesmen work with people to determine like what kind of price they get on stuff, you know. Even like people that go to like do door-to-door sales will like negotiate with people at the door, like
Yeah.
It's like when you have
Yeah, I
to
mean,
beat
nothing
down-
hardly gets sold for the same price.
yeah.
I got this one wrong on the exam with the
Me
ham.
too.
Yeah, because they said at the end it said he's done nothing wrong. That was the end of it.
Right. But the text made me think that you can't because it says if they're similar grade and
Wait.
something else, then you can't sell it to two different people for different prices, which it was a ham. And so I don't know. This one I'm not sure on.
Yeah. Yeah, on the test I put the one that was like this, like if they were different like weights and stuff, because that was the one that made the most logical sense. Like it kind of seemed like he did something wrong, but not quite, because there could have been a reason for it besides just the fact that the other lady had more money than like the guy who was buying the ham.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one was really confusing.
So this is on the
And that was wrong. So I don't know about the planes thing. It's a
so
hard one.
this one I pulled up on the Federal Trade Commission laws. So like people, it's Robinson-Patman is the law that governs
Right.
it, and it said claims must meet several specific legal tests. The act must apply to commodities, so like a thing, not services, and to purchases, not leases. And the goods must be of like grade and quality. There must be injury to the competition, so it has to injure has to injure someone's business one way or the other. So like if you're selling steel to two companies that build things out of steel, one by discriminating price against them and hurting their business. And then it says normally the sales must be in interstate commerce, so must cross a state line,
So this
which I don't remember reading or hearing anything about that.
Because isn't it No, I guess it doesn't make it clear whether. Well, didn't they talk about jet turquoise above? Isn't that? No. So maybe it's not the whole interstate. Because they're the exact same planes. They're the different price. So they say that they're being punished, which is damages. I just don't know about the interstate part.
So maybe I think that's like their reasoning behind it is because they
both
were working with a different company
Yeah.
before they think they're being punished. And so maybe that's why they think like it's not just like a sales strategy. It's like something they're specifically doing to hurt their business. Because if they buy planes for more, they can't make as much money.
Right.
So I think
Yeah.
that's how they're trying to claim discrimination. And I think it's more just because it's a business, not like one person buying a plane. That's why they can.
Yeah. Maybe that's why the ham
That's why they're in trouble there.
question is he didn't do anything wrong because they're in the same state, I'm assuming. He wasn't selling ham across state lines.
Well, and not to mention, like they're not injured by it. Like it's not like it doesn't hurt their business. It's just
Right.
like something they're gonna go home and cook. So
Okay.
but
So then are we leaning
I'm
more
interested to see
towards
how
it
this final
price
goes.
discrimination or it's not?
I would say this one is.
Yeah, as long as they can prove that they were punishing them for having an all Airbus.
It looks like
fleet.
they're punishing them. It looks like they're cross. I mean, the goods are identical, and it's likely to injure their business because their competition can maybe provide cheaper flights because they're paying less for their airplanes,
Okay.
And I'm assuming it
and
is
so it might
made
actually injure their business.
because you don't they don't only you wouldn't have a ton of major plane manufacturers in the same state.
Mhm. Well, and odds are, like, even if it is a company, those
I-
companies are occupying multiple states because they're like companies like that are so large. Like I imagine
Right.
that's JetBlue, not Jet Turquoise.
Yeah.
But like those airlines, they're in every state. You know, they have I don't know where their HQ is, but they have
Their hub.
all those planes are going to be all over the world, honestly.
Yeah.
So I would
Okay.
lean towards saying
That one-
that is price discrimination, and maybe that's why. It wasn't like the VP called them in and said this wasn't that big of a deal. Like the VP called in and was angry that they were in a lawsuit because.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess the difference too would be just proving because I think there's the differences between if they sold them to 57 million per aircraft because they made a deal. If you buy so many, you get the discount, as opposed to just saying, "Hey, we'll do this for 57 million for you," as opposed to 60 million for these guys. Like, it doesn't stipulate in here that they made a deal with them because they were.
Yeah. Well, it
Thanks
says
so
U.S.
many.
Flight Co. made a deal to buy only from them for the next 10 years. So that's, maybe
So
there's
that
a
might
buying
be-
in bulk discount. I think a lot of this will just
Yeah.
depend on
So that
how the
might-
question's worded.
Yep.
Because it could go either way. Like what I think because it's not black and white, like who's right and who's wrong. I'll bet the question ends up being like, what can they do to defend themselves against Jet Turquoise? Like, what's their best argument for why this isn't? Or what's
Yeah.
JetBlue's best argument against? I'm sure that'll be the question, not is this right or wrong? Because, I mean,
There's so many different
these companies, like a lot of times companies like this will get in lawsuits and someone has to decide. And they literally have like two of the brightest law teams on each of their sides that both think they're right. So I don't think a lot of these are like black and white, like this is the right answer. I think a lot of these he'll probably ask us like, what's the best argument for this side,
Yeah.
Maybe.
Makes sense.
That's what comes to my mind anyway.
Cool. Well, do you guys have any other questions?
I'm gonna have to rewatch this video.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
I
Yeah,
volunteer
hope.
to get a C- on the exam.
I volunteer Lexi as tribute.
When are you guys taking it?
When's it start? Is it open?
As late as I can.
So it opened today and it closes on Tuesday.
Honestly, I'll probably take it Monday.
Yeah, probably
Same.
same.
I know I can't get there tomorrow. a really slow day for me in homework because my only homework is due for a class that I just finished today. So I'll have I can either have all day Tuesday or the afternoons on Monday to go
My
get it
religion
done. So
class already ended. Like we turned
Same.
everything in tonight. So I'm like,
That's
what the? And grades will
my-
be on
my-
Monday.
my religion class ends tomorrow. I have the final. I did my last class today and my finals tomorrow and it's done. So
Yeah, she's like, turn in all your assignments tonight. Grades will be posted on Monday. I'm like, that's how it's done.
Heck yeah.
This is my only class.
lucky.
It's okay. I'll have a lot next semester. Don't worry.
Every time you tell me that, I just want to cry because I'm like, oh my gosh, that'd be so nice.
What do you guys have next semester?
I
Actually,
like
my
how
next
you-
semester isn't too bad. I'm only in 11 credits. That's just how my schedule worked out. So, like, after this next semester, I'll have completed like every general course I need, and then I'm gonna do one
Nice.
more semester in the fall, and I'll have my associates. I'm just gonna do a general studies because I don't really know what I want to go into yet, but I
I thought
want
you
to
were
keep
doing
getting school out of the way.
Yeah, I thought you were a camp.
I don't know. That was my major, but I kind of second guessing it a little bit. So
Aw. It's a good
But
major.
I'm still thinking. I like accounting. I like finance. I'm actually shadowing an eye doctor tomorrow. I thought
Oh,
that'd be
fun.
interesting.
Actually, I
So-
would, if I had to be a doctor of any kind, it would be an eye doctor.
Same. I know a couple eye doctors around here, and they have like they literally have like these awesome offices that like they go in and like watch like ESPN in between seeing patients and like just go see patients, and like their job's like 8 to 5, like
Awesome.
no, like very low stress. Like I feel like that would be a really cool job to have
Yeah.
compared to a lot of other doctors.
My
I don't think they
uncle
make
is,
quite as much, but I think some of them that own their own practice actually make a ton of money. So
yeah. Yeah, I have an uncle in Idaho Falls that's an eye doctor, so that's nice.
what's his name?
Brad Reinhardt.
Brad Reinhardt. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, I can't remember where he works,
Yeah, I don't know.
but
I think
anyways,
it'd be really cool to own your own practice though, and like
yeah,
kind of
for
control your own schedule, stuff like that.
Heck yeah.
sure. Yeah.
My
Yeah, so I'm taking like an accounting class. I still have to take like I mean I have like religion and then a science class, and then I'm taking that business writing class. I don't know if you guys had to take that, but like the advanced writing in pro context or whatever.
hmm
And then I have a nutrition class that I want to take for fun, and then I'm also doing organ instruction, so I can learn how to play the organ in case I ever do that.
oh, nice.
My word. Do you have
I played piano. I played
Nice.
piano for like 13
random
years.
test-
So it's
I
yeah.
just have, I'm not even sure if I'm going to keep them. I have the intro to entrepreneurship and then the business, because my bachelor's will be business management
Mhm.
and like the spreadsheet analysis, but I might drop that and just do the other religion class. Because April through
Oh, yeah.
July,
Is the spreadsheet analysis, is that 215?
yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I
Yeah,
have to
I'm just-
take that at some point.
I'm just finishing that one up this semester, the 215 class.
Is it rough?
I like computer stuff like that, so it's not bad, but it's definitely like very intensive. Like you're going through and like the ones I just did, you're actually doing like the macros and stuff. So at the end of the semester, you're actually getting into like very light programming. It's not bad though. A lot of it's just like there's times where you are doing because you're doing like logic based Excel functions. So it's a lot of like big long logic streams that are like 50 things long, and it's saying if this one's doing this, then do this and this and this to make
Right.
interactive spreadsheets. So I think it's
'Cause I do a lot of
fun.
work, so I'm not too worried.
Yeah.
But I just, being in school April through July is such a rough time. to
Yeah.
be in school.
Yep.
Summer, it's Utah. There's so much to do. So I don't know. I might
Yeah.
just do the intro to entrepreneurship because it's more of like developing yourself. It's like one of those weird, like almost self-help religion. I don't know.
Cool.
See, I think I do better in school when it's like nice because like that way when I get like a day off, I can really go do something instead of like winter where it's like I get a day off but you're like snowed in, so you just sit in your apartment all day anyway.
Yeah.
Getting like a pretty like boring rut. Whereas like when you're in school and it's nice and you get a day off, you can go like really like enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But
I'm
I see
excited
your
for that.
point too. It stinks when like because a lot of people like around here, everyone in around like I'm in Rexburg, so everyone's in the same boat. Like they're all in school,
Right.
everyone my age. But I could see like in Utah where like a lot of the schools aren't on the same track, and like just everyone your age and like the whole crowd's just out playing. That'd be kind of hard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I bet.
But guys, I'm probably gonna take off. I'm gonna go play some basketball tonight.
Cool.
But I really appreciate having you guys as a group. I was pretty stoked to get some like. I didn't feel like anyone in our group had to be carried or anything like that. If anything, it was probably me that was carried this semester. But
You're
I
fine.
felt like we had
No,
a
this is
really
definitely
awesome
the best group I've
and-
been in yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
usually whenever I hear I'm going to be in a group all semester, I absolutely hate it because
Yeah.
it's biting me in the butt.
There's
But
always
I
that
actually
one
really enjoyed our group
but
this
we
year. So,
definitely didn't have that.
so
It's been a good semester, you guys.
I feel bad that
Have a
one
good
kid
next
dropped the
week.
class, but other than that,
Yeah.
I know he make it to week 2 and he was gone.
but other than that, I felt like we had a really consistent group. Everyone was here every week. Everyone was fairly prepared most of the time, and
Yeah.
I was glad to you guys. So
Cool.
Okay,
All right.
everybody
Well,
your exam
Cool.
scores after it's closed.
see you guys.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Who gets the
good
lowest?
luck, everybody.
Bye.
All right. See you.
Bye.